My mother died when I was 24. 6 years later, I heard her breathing beneath my bed. I know how that sounds. If someone else had told me this story, I would have assumed they were grieving, or drunk, or slowly losing their mind. I considered all three before I finally looked. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember because I had to be at work the next morning, and I was lying awake beside a woman I had only met a few hours earlier. Her name was Claire. We'd met at a bar downtown. She laughed at my stupid jokes, I bought her a drink, and by midnight she was asleep in my apartment while I stared at the ceiling wondering why I kept doing this. Maybe I was lonely, maybe I just didn't want another silent night. Around 2 in the morning, I heard it. A slow inhale. Then a faint whistle as the air left someone's lungs. My entire body froze. Most people recognize their mother's voice. I recognized her breathing. She had damaged lungs after years of smoking. Every breath followed the same rhythm. Inhale. Pause. A quiet whistle. Another inhale. I listened to it through my bedroom wall for almost 20 years. The sound was coming from under my bed. I told myself it was old pipes. Then I heard someone swallow. That tiny movement in the throat. She always did that after a long breath. The sound moved closer, right beneath my head. I don't know how long I stayed frozen. Maybe 30 seconds. Maybe 5 minutes. Finally I slid to the edge of the mattress. My hand touched the cold wooden floor. I leaned over, and looked underneath. My mother was lying there. Not the way she looked before she died. Not pale. Not sick. She looked exactly the way I remembered her when I was 8 years old. Soft cheeks. Dark hair tied behind her head. The old blue housecoat she always wore on weekends. Only, there wasn't enough space beneath the bed for a person. The gap between the floor and the mattress couldn't have been more than 8 inches. Her body should have been crushed flat. Instead, she simply lay there, looking at me, breathing. Inhale. Pause. Whistle. Then she slowly turned her eyes toward Claire, and gently shook her head. Not angrily, disappointed. Exactly the same expression she'd used whenever I brought home a bad report card. Or lied, or stayed out too late. I jerked backward so hard I hit my head against the bed frame. Claire woke up. What happened? I couldn't answer. There's someone under the bed. She blinked. What? I pointed toward the floor. She smiled. You scared me. I'm serious. She looked at my face. The smile disappeared. You don't look like you're joking. She reached for the bedside lamp. The room filled with warm yellow light. The breathing didn't stop. Claire slowly climbed out of bed. I grabbed her wrist. Don't. Why? Just don't. She gently pulled away. If someone's really under there, we call the police. I need you to look first. She frowned. You want me to look under your bed? I nodded. She sighed. This is ridiculous. She knelt beside the bed. I couldn't breathe. She lowered her head. For several seconds, she simply stared. Then something changed. The tension disappeared from her face. She smiled. Not politely. Not nervously. The kind of smile people have when they unexpectedly meet someone they love. Oh my God! I whispered, what do you see? She laughed. You never told me. Told you what? You have a puppy. Every hair on my body stood up. What? She looked back at me. A little black puppy. I couldn't speak. Claire reached one hand beneath the bed. Come here. My mother never took her eyes off me. She smiled. Claire laughed again. He's scared. I lunged forward and grabbed her arm. Get away from the bed. She pulled free. What is wrong with you? There isn't a puppy. Of course there is. She leaned farther underneath. Come here, sweetheart. I grabbed her by the waist. She suddenly pulled forward with impossible strength. So hard that I fell onto my knees. Her shoulders disappeared beneath the bed. Then her head. She was still laughing. Still calling the puppy. I caught one ankle. For a second. It felt like someone else was pulling from the other side. Then her skin slipped through my fingers. Her foot vanished beneath the bed. The laughter stopped. Silence. I flipped the entire bed onto its side. There was nobody underneath. No Claire. No mother. Nothing. Except dust. And a chocolate bar in a faded red wrapper. I hadn't seen that brand since my mother stopped buying them for me when I was a child. I called the police. They searched every room, every closet, every window, every inch beneath the floorboards. There was no sign that Claire had ever been inside my apartment. I showed them our text messages. There weren't any. The dating app where we'd met didn't recognize my account. The bartender remembered serving me. He remembered me leaving alone. One officer asked how much I'd had to drink. Another suggested I speak to someone. They left after sunrise. Before leaving, one of them picked up the chocolate bar. "These still exist?" I took it from his hand. "I'll keep it." He shrugged. "Suit yourself." When they were gone, I unwrapped it. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted proof that it wasn't real. The smell hit me before I took a bite. Chocolate. Caramel. Roasted peanuts. Exactly the way I remembered. For one impossible second. I wasn't 30 anymore. I was 8 years old. Sitting at the kitchen table. My mother smiling across from me. "You listened today." She placed a candy beside my plate. "I'm proud of you." The memory was so vivid that I dropped the bar onto the floor. I didn't eat the rest. But I didn't throw it away either. I placed it in the kitchen cabinet. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. There was no breathing. No whistle. No mother. I convinced myself grief had finally caught up with me. Then I met Emily. I almost cancelled our second date. By the third, she was leaving a toothbrush at my apartment. By the fourth, I was terrified. She noticed. She asked what was wrong. I lied. The night she stayed over, the breathing returned. Inhale. Pause. Whistle. I didn't need to look. I already knew. She was there. Waiting beneath the bed. Watching us. Shaking her head. This time I didn't wake Emily. I sat in the corner of the room until sunrise. The breathing stopped the moment Emily left for work. I almost believed it was over. That evening she came back. She laughed at how exhausted I looked. Then her earring rolled beneath the bed. She knelt. I screamed. She ignored me. Then she smiled. "My sister," she whispered. I froze. Emily's younger sister had drowned when she was 11. She had told me that on our second date. "My God," Emily whispered. "I've missed you so much." She reached beneath the bed. Then crawled forward. I grabbed her legs. She didn't even react. She kept moving. Slowly. Calmly. As if someone she loved was waiting just out of reach. When she disappeared, another chocolate bar lay beneath the bed. I didn't call the police this time. Because I already knew what they would find. Nothing. After Emily came Sarah. Sarah saw her childhood cat. Megan heard her father's voice. Lily whispered. "My baby." She'd never had children. Every person saw someone different. Every one of them smiled. Every one of them crawled beneath the bed willingly. Every one of them was gone. And every time, there was another chocolate bar. At first I cried. Then I started collecting them. Months passed. The cabinet became a drawer. The drawer became a cardboard box. One night, I opened another wrapper. I told myself I only wanted to see if it still tasted the same. It did. Exactly the same. The caramel. the chocolate, the peanuts. Then came the memory. Not a picture. A feeling. The absolute certainty that everything was safe. That my mother would always know what was best for me. I sat in the dark, finished the whole bar, and realized something that frightened me more than anything I'd seen beneath that bed. I wasn't bringing women home because I wanted to fall in love. Some part of me was waiting for my mother. The police returned after Lily. By then they already knew my name. One detective carried a folder full of photographs. Claire, Emily, Sarah, Megan, Lily. He laid them across my kitchen table. I want you to tell me the truth. I am. You've met these women? Yes. You dated him? Yes. They came here? Yes. He looked at me for a long time, then quietly slid the photographs back into the folder. There are no women in these pictures. I stared at him. He turned the first photograph toward me. I was standing outside the bar, alone. The second, a park bench. I was smiling, my arm wrapped around empty air. The third, a restaurant. One chair across from me, completely empty. The detectives searched the house again. Dogs, cameras, forensics. Nothing. Just before they left, Detective Harris opened the cabinet in my living room. He frowned. "What's this?" He pulled out the cardboard box. Opened it. Inside were dozens of chocolate bars. Perfectly stacked. He laughed. "I haven't seen these in years." He picked one up carefully. "My son keeps asking what candy was like when I was a kid." He smiled at the wrapper. "I tell him about these all the time." He looked at me. "Would you mind if I took one home for him?" I nodded. "Go ahead." He slipped it into his jacket pocket, then glanced toward my bedroom. "I'd like to check under the bed one more time." His partner sighed. "We've already checked." "I know." Harris walked down the hallway alone. I heard the bedroom door open. Silence. Nearly a minute passed. Then he came back. His face had no color. His hands were shaking. Without saying the word, he reached into his pocket, took out the chocolate bar, placed it back into the box, closed the lid. I looked at him. "What did you see?" He didn't answer immediately. His eyes stayed on the box. Finally, he spoke. Very quietly. "I don't think." He swallowed. "I was a very good boy today." Then he walked out of my house. I never heard my mother breathe beneath a bed again. But sometimes, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I still find myself listening for that whistle. Just to make sure she's gone.